Hi guys, I'm out reasonably early this morning and I'm doing macro photography. I'm looking for damselflies and they're like the smaller cousin of dragonflies, and they're absolutely fantastic insects. I'm hoping to get banded demoiselles, and the males are this lovely turquoise green with black wingtips, and the females are like an iridescent green, and they're absolutely beautiful animals. And I'm by this beautiful river in Essex, and this is a great spot for a damselfly, so fingers crossed. Now I'm up early and out early for a number of reasons really. Firstly, I've got more chance of doing this vlog without loads of people walking past, so that's a great reason on its own. But secondly, it's sunny today and the light later on will be really harsh, so it's much better to be out early when the light's a bit softer, because I'll get much more fine detail recorded, you know, on the damselflies. You know, if I wait until 11-12 o'clock, the highlights are going to be overexposed possibly. I'll have shadows, the shadows will be getting a bit too dark, and I'll lose all of that fine detail. So early is great in terms of light, lovely warm early morning sunlight. Secondly, it's already a little bit breezy, and as the sun rises, that breeze will creep up. When I used to dinghy sail, I used to wait until the wind filled in, and that would normally happen a little bit later on in the day as that solar energy starts to create breezes. So that's another good reason to be out early. And thirdly, generally insects are less active first thing in the morning, because you know they need to warm up before they start moving around a lot more. So if I find some damselflies this morning, it means I've got more chance and more time to focus and compose the picture. And insects are no different to any other subject I photograph. Obviously the welfare of the animal is the most important thing, and the last thing I want to do is disturb them and you know, upset their normal sort of life routine. So there's lots of reasons to be out early. And I've got my 90mm macro lens, so I'm doing close-up, hopefully, shots of these insects, and I'm on a monopod. And I find that is a lot easier to use when you're photographing insects, because I can move around and get into awkward positions a lot easier than if I've got a tripod with me, but it still gives me some stability. And not only does it reduce any shake that I might add, but it also takes the strain off your shoulders, because you know, if you're waiting in one position for too long, it can be, you know, really hard work on the shoulders. So monopod, 90mm macro lens. I'm going to be shooting with a big F number, because the trouble with macro photography is you're close to your insect or the flower or whatever it is you're photographing, and it means the depth of field is really minimal. So I want to increase the depth of field as much as I can, which means I might have to shoot at a reasonably high ISO number even though it's bright, because that big F number will give me a small aperture, so not much light is going to come through the lens, and I need a fast shutter speed to freeze any subject movement and any movement I might add. And again, because I'm close to that insect, I'm going to be magnifying any movement that I might add, or any movement of that insect. And even if the insect's quite still because it's early morning, if I get a bit of movement on one of these sort of, you know, pieces of grass or reed beds or some of the reeds, that would be a problem. So again, fast shutter speed to try and maintain a sharp picture, a big F number so I've got a bit more depth of field, and I'm going to focus right on the eye of my insect, because even though I've got a big F number, I'm still not going to get the whole insect in focus. So I'll make sure I focus on the eye, because that's the most important bit. I could focus stack the image, but again, that subject would need to be really static to do that. So I'm not going to focus stack, but I'm going to focus right on the eye, and I'll try and shoot across the animal rather than down the animal, so I'll get a bit more of that animal in focus. So that's about it, guys. I'm going to go and hunt up and down this river now and see what I can find, and I'll speak to you in a minute. Okay, so yeah, just got a couple of shots of a male banded demoiselle, which is brilliant. And I just wanted to talk about, it's out of the way now, it's right into the reeds. So I think I'm only going to get the 1 or 2 shots, but I just wanted to talk about focusing as well. And I tend to, when I'm doing macro, I focus manually, and then I'll get it as close as I can, and then I just rock backwards and forwards, and you see the picture snap in and out of focus. And I find for insect photography, that's a really good way to work. So I find, yeah, get it as close as you can using the focus ring, and then just rock backwards and forwards, and you'll see that animal, that insect, snap in and out of focus. And when it snaps into focus, you hit the shutter button. It takes a bit of practice, but I think it's a really successful way to focus for this sort of photography. Right, I don't know if you can see it, but we've got a female damselfly just on that little bit of grass. I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, it's right in the middle there. It's not the best in terms of composition because it's there's lots of grass behind it, but yeah, it's a lovely, beautiful animal. And often these grasses are a great place to start looking for these insects. They will spend a bit of time away from the river. But the damselflies don't go too far away from the river, whereas the dragonflies often will fly a great distance. But yeah, brilliant. Okay, so that's great. There it is. I'm going to try and get close and get some stills now, although this is not the best, and you can see it's really getting blown around and it's off. Okay, so yeah, I've had a really nice morning. I've just spotted and got a photograph of a damselfly just in this grassy area here. Don't know if it's sharp or not because it's getting quite breezy now and it's bouncing around all over the place. So what I think I'm going to do is call it a day now. It's, as I say, you need really still weather, really still conditions for any macro photography. And it doesn't matter whether it's flower photography, insects like dragonflies and damselflies or butterflies, stiller the better. So I think I'm going to call it a day now, but I've had a really nice morning. The birds are singing, the sun's shining. I've got a few pictures, not quite as many as I perhaps wanted, but I've found some damselflies today, and this is an area that I can come back to on a number of occasions because it's close to where I live in the Essex countryside. So yeah, I really hope you've enjoyed this little walk out with me looking for damselflies, and if you have enjoyed it and you haven't already subscribed to my channel, if you can consider subscribing, that would be great. And if you do, press the little bell icon so you're notified when my next video is uploaded. And you know, if you've got any great experiences of wildlife in general, or photographing insects, butterflies, dragonflies or damselflies, please put them in the comments below. It's always great to hear from everyone. I hope there's no wind noise on this last piece of the video because I've lost a little furry sort of bit that goes over my mic, so there might be a little bit of wind noise, hopefully not too much.